Like, I don't think you meant the forever anymore.
Hmm.
I thought you were saying at the time, like, I don't really feel guilt. Like, I've worked through guilt isn't a thing. I feel remorse. I don't feel guilt.
Yeah, you have a much better memory of that. But
I,
here's what I will say.
yeah,
Without knowing what I said,
yes.
2 years later, I'm sure that I was full of shit. This is Other Maria, the podcast of our real life conversations about personal evolution, society, relationships, spirituality, and everything else. We're getting vulnerable in these good faith talks and sometimes respectfully disagreeing about which of us is wrong. Just kidding, there's no right and wrong. We're just two friends sitting around talking shit. Wait, talking about deep shit, right? That's what we're doing. Yeah, enjoy.
And we're live.
What it is, girl.
What it is, girl. Ooh, what it is a good one. They never talk about that in the millennial slang.
Yeah.
What it is. That's a good one. Oh, these mic stands. Anyway, hi.
Hi.
What it is. I'm just kidding. What are we talking about today? Remind me.
ASMR.
Oh my God, we're gonna do ASMR. Guys, we want to do an ASMR episode. And then we can
Smash the like button if you want to hear ASMR next episode. And we're gonna eat some like
smash the like button.
chicken wings or something.
No, we gotta eat like chips. Oh, chicken wings will work. Anything will work.
Anything that's like saucy or crunchy.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, this is
Some
not
celery.
vulnerable. Okay.
Right, okay.
Some celery.
Okay.
Also, we watched the Hot Ones episode of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. So cute.
Yeah.
So cute. Also, shout out to Deadpool and Wolverine. Amazing film. It's
So glad.
so good, so funny. Highly recommend.
Great. Is
Yeah.
that in theaters or?
Right now it's in
Okay.
theaters, yeah.
Amaze.
And thank God we'd watched the last Wolverine movie beforehand. We almost didn't. Both of us were like, phew. It was
I
so good to watch all together.
need to rewatch Deadpool.
You'll really enjoy it, especially the third one. It's worth watching the first two. They did a really
I
good job.
was not in a good headset when I saw it the first time.
That's it. Oh no, yeah, I totally know why. I get it, and you will really like them.
Okay, deal.
There is definitely some Marvel stuff that I didn't totally get, but he prepared me pretty well. I felt really proud of myself.
All right, movie recs all around.
Deadpool plus Wolverine and Wolverine. I don't know what it is.
Those will be words on connections for tomorrow. Fuck that. Okay, I'm done.
I know Connections is your nemesis.
Lately, yeah.
But it's funny because I've noticed the ones that you're struggling with, I do fine. But then there's days where you send it and you're fine. And I'm like, I can't, what? Our brains are,
I know.
yeah.
So we're such a good team.
Yes. Mm.
Mm.
That
We
bird.
have to find that again.
I
Do you
have it.
have it?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God, send it to me. Okay.
I started following that guy specifically on Instagram and I went through like so many the other night. But that one is classic.
That was the one that went viral.
Yeah, as so it should. Have you seen the seal one? We have to watch that one too.
Okay.
There's a seal on a boat.
What's his name?
I think his handle is Rockstar Voice, but it's like RXSTXVX or something like that. There's a
Okay.
lot of X's in there, but I think it's Rockstar Voice.
Hopefully my phone hears us, and the next time I open
Yeah,
Instagram,
it'll
it'll
just
show
be
me
there.
one.
That's how that works, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be great. Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks for listening.
Mm-hmm.
We have a topic. What is it again? I have to find it. We
I just looked at it. Promises, commitments, and apologies.
Ooh,
I don't know why. We both felt intrigued by that today.
yeah. What about him? Just
I
kidding.
don't fucking know.
Great start.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that came to mind with apologies
Yeah.
is a recent experience with one of our friends in her relationship and having said to her partner that it was important to her that apologies meant something within a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there with that because I think that's a great point. And I feel like in general, my pet peeve, as you well know, because I have had to apologize for calling you out on how much you apologize, because I was just ruthless with you at one point in time. I regret having acted that way.
Not at all. I mean, it's not like you
Anyway,
didn't have a point, but I
yeah,
also,
no, but I was being pretty unforgiving. Anyway, I guess to me, there's a difference between an apology.
sorry, I thought of a joke way too late, but it still made me laugh.
Oh, let's hear it.
No, when you were like, I regret having, I wanted to be like, would you say you feel guilty about that or remorseful? I'm just kidding.
It's a great question.
It
All right,
was a joke,
this is great.
but I do think for that, I would understand remorseful versus guilty in
Okay.
that situation. I would
Ladies and gentlemen,
understand
the real topic has emerged.
semantics. Oh my gosh.
Kill me.
Wow. But this would be a part two to our semantics from a year ago and see how we land. We've both grown a lot since then, so it's
Oh
fun
my
to
God,
think
right?
that we used to even be at one point you were like, I don't feel guilt anymore. And then at the next point it was like, oh no, wait, okay, hold on. And
I
then
found some.
yeah, sure.
I
And then at other points just being
don't
like,
feel like I ever said I don't feel guilt anymore, but it was just like it's been so long.
that's
Which is not to say that I won't in the future. It's not like I'm impervious to it.
no. And at the time I didn't take it that way. We're doing
Yeah,
it again. We're literally doing it again. But at the
of
time,
course
I
we
didn't
are.
mean, I really do think you said anymore. But even at the time, I didn't take it as you were like, I don't think you meant the forever anymore.
Hmm.
I thought you were saying at the time, like, I don't really feel guilt. Like, I've worked through guilt isn't a thing. I feel remorse. I don't feel guilt.
Yeah, you have a much better memory of that. But
I,
here's what I will say.
yeah,
Without knowing what I said,
yes.
2 years later, I'm sure that I was full of shit. If you're listening, pause this right now. Go back and find the episode.
We
Just
didn't
kidding.
talk about guilt and remorse on the episode. It was just in that time period.
Yeah. Also having a lot more semantic fights back then.
No, so many. We haven't had one in months and months and months and months.
Right.
I'm referencing the episode where I changed your mind a little bit on advice.
Oh, yeah.
That was what happened.
Right.
Like 6 months before that was the guilt remorse one. Because again, it wasn't about like everyone has a different feeling about a word. It's just words. They're made
Mhm.
up. You're not all gonna feel the same about each word. But it was just the like no guilt and like remorse is the new word. And then it became a semantic about
Right.
what does guilt mean versus remorse. And I was like, oh my God, my brain broke.
Totally.
But then like 6 months later on the podcast, we talked about advice.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, not to beat a dead horse, but I guess for whatever reason, that word advice
Yeah.
still to me carries some kind of,
Negative connotation.
yeah,
Sure.
like some charge of superiority somehow.
Definitely. But that's what we got on the episode.
Yeah.
Because what I brought up was that I understand that because it feels like an old man being like, let me give you some
An old
advice.
white man?
Yeah.
Okay. As I shout that at the listeners, your headphones get unplugged in the train and everyone hears an old white man.
Yeah. And that's what we got at. That word definitely has charge to our generation because we were given a lot of like unsolicited advice.
That's the episode.
It's called
It is called that.
unsolicited
Okay.
advice. And so it was
Y'all go
like,
back and listen to that one.
yeah, and it was just kind of getting at, I totally don't like that kind of advice either. But it would be like, at the time I felt, and I still feel like it'd be like hypocritical of me to be like, I don't like advice because I like giving advice.
Right. Which I guess, okay. I guess I do too, and it's just hard to say.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I'm gonna be real.
Oh,
I know what the fuck I'm doing about certain things.
no, totally. And even, I guess it's like, again, it's the unsolicited part that's so heavy. We've learned to listen better, to be active listeners, and to ask someone, okay, do you want my opinion? Are you looking for guidance? Do you need me to just listen? Do you
Right.
just want to vent?
Right.
And those are all really important. But if somebody said, I'd really love some advice, I'm not going to be like, I'll be like,
Well, right, right. And that's interesting though
okay.
too. Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting, particularly around advice.
Hmm.
Because I Ooh, I guess, I don't know, there's maybe still something in there about unsolicited advice
Yeah.
that I am so, so, so careful
Yeah.
that unless someone literally asks, I want your thoughts, I want your advice, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what I should do, unless that is explicitly clear to me, I won't.
Yeah.
Like what you said right now, if someone says, I want your advice, of course I wouldn't withhold that.
Hmm. And
I'll
there's
tell you
the
how you're
advice.
fucking up. But I will tell you straight up.
Well, here's what you're doing wrong.
There is a right and wrong. No, but I guess like I'm
Yeah.
thinking of like I have
Yeah.
one friend that will literally call me and say, I need advice.
Yeah.
And then she'll tell me what's happening. And it's so easy for me and I enjoy it and I help
There you
her, blah,
go.
blah, blah. And then I had actually a conversation earlier this week with someone where they like told me a bunch of stuff and I was kind of just like, yeah, okay. And then I realized I was like, I'm actually not sure what you need. And I have a lot of thoughts and I'm not sure how to proceed. And
Right.
they were like, well, tell me what you would tell anyone. I was like, oh, okay. And then it flowed and then it was helpful.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay. So like I have a thing, maybe.
Certainly agree with everything you said. That's what I mean. And I think for me, I've been like pretty aware of that because I wonder if in general the people that are aware of this stuff right now and like going to therapy or going to a spiritual group or like whatever and like working on like being more mindful or active listening and like asking, what are you looking for? I'm for myself have an eye on overdoing it the opposite direction because then I'm finding myself like in a way policing myself. Like I'm not allowed to say something because it's like, oh, well, if they didn't ask, then like I shouldn't say anything.
Right.
When it's like sometimes my natural, I'm not gonna be like abrasive and like, well, you should do this. And if I were you, like that was the what we needed to undo.
Hmm.
So it's like if I don't think I'm gonna approach that way, it's like when do I allow myself to just sort of speak freely without even asking, like, is this okay right now? You know,
Hmm.
like and mindfully, and most of the time I'm
Yeah.
asking.
And with you and I think that goes without saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, kind of in general, it's like, especially people doing this work, if they're also practicing asking, I'm always sensitive to like, are they gonna be upset that I'm saying something because they're gonna want the opportunity to ask for it rather than me just say it.
Right.
But then I'm like, well, I don't want, so then
And then that's
like,
too
I'm
much.
overthinking it, and
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah,
Okay. Where did that come from? Apologies. What were the other two?
promises and commitment.
Right. Oh, wait, that's how we got into advice. Yeah, apologies. The difference between sorry and apologies.
Right. Oh, I was like, are you remorseful or guilty?
Right, right. You were making a
Anyway.
fucked up joke past Maria.
No, but I wasn't giving you a hard time. I wasn't.
So
I wasn't.
no, it was a good point.
But no, apologies meaning something. It's a really fine line, I think.
I guess is what I was saying is I was really heavy-handed with you at a
Sure.
point in time
Sure.
and then had to apologize. Which is,
And you really meant it.
I know.
No, yeah, yeah.
That was in
It
Mexico.
sure was. Sure was.
The
You had a dream, and then the next day you were like, so we need to talk.
uh-huh. Oh my God, I had so many
Mhm.
dreams. Hmm. Okay, anyway. I
Mhm.
think though that I was saying like that's my pet peeve because it's so prevalent everywhere.
Yeah, for
Everyone's
sure.
just sorry this, sorry that, sorry this, sorry that, particularly women.
Yeah,
And I mean, there's a bunch of shit wrapped up in it being particularly women, whatever. We could do a whole episode on that. Not even interested, quite honestly. But
hmm,
I guess it's just like people have done memes or jokes or stand-up bits about it, and it's like, sorry I did this, sorry I'm in your way, sorry this, sorry that, and at the bottom of it, it's like, sorry for existing. And I just get that vibe from everyone that's apologizing for every little thing.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, but like you're so perfect. Like, stop apologizing for
sure.
everything. Stop apologizing for breathing. Stop apologizing for like because first of all, it isn't even an apology, but also maybe it's more like wrapped up in the word sorry. It's just I don't know. I guess I so clearly perceive this self-worth wound in it,
Mhm.
and it breaks my heart.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I don't think any of those are really intended as apologies. Sorries can be apologies, of course, but I think when it's like the rapid fire to every little thing,
Yeah, and
it's
like
not.
not at all to go back to what happened in a real way at all. But just it's a good example. Like I think I was also in like a weird place, but I also do that sometimes. I don't think I'm doing it as much lately. I'm
You're
thinking about
really
it.
not.
Yeah, okay, so then it really was where I was at. But
Because I'm always paying attention. I'm just like, shut the fuck up to myself in my
oh
head.
yeah, yeah, totally. But I guess when I'm in that place, maybe there is overarching anxiety happening, but it's also that I do use that word differently. Like I sense it.
Mhm.
Because you've been so good at like taking it out of your vocabulary completely, not when it comes to an apology.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
I never apologize for
never,
anything
ever,
anymore.
not ever. No, no, not sure at all. But like just out in the world, you really don't say it colloquially as like a excuse me or a
Right.
can I have the thing or whatever. And I think I'm like a little rebellious that I still use it. Yeah. Cause I'm like, no, not to be like, I got it. Like when I'm over apologizing, it's happening. But when I'm doing it in that way, I think there's something in me that's like, I like balance. And so it's like I want everyone to be balanced in understanding semantics. Like, is that really someone who's genuinely low self-worth apologizing for everything? You can sense it when it's that. And like for me, not to negate that I was going through something and maybe
Mhm.
was struggling,
Mhm.
that's totally there too. But like if I go up to someone and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, like, do you think I could sit here? I don't fuck it. I'm not sorry for shit. So I understand it totally gets you. I know.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
know that. You're like, stop, don't say that. You could just
Yeah.
say, hey, can I sit here? And so then I've practiced that too. Like I want to work on that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, how much do I need to work on that? It's exhausting. So then I'm policing myself. That's when I find for me in the balance. When it's like I do the thing and someone, the people you represent of like, oh, whenever you hear it,
Mhm.
I'm a rebellious against that. And then I'm just like, I didn't mean it. What's bothering you so
You
bad?
dick.
But it's not, it's not,
No, no, I know, I know. So this is very interesting. Okay.
especially because I think also like generationally, I understand we're trying to undo the generational stuff, therefore not ever apologize for stupid shit we don't need to apologize for. But I also know it means like pardon.
Mhm.
It'd be like being annoyed every time somebody says, pardon me.
Mhm.
But pardon me, technically, if we were like semanticing it, should be stronger. I know it's not, but it's a pardon. Like I like have wronged you. Like
Mhm.
if I went up to somebody and said, pardon me, could I sit here? That has semantically become chiller than so sorry, can I sit here?
Mhm.
When it's like I'm trying to say like sorry to bother you. Like pardon me for the interruption. Like, can I sit down?
Yo, I'm gonna sit here. You cool with that?
Exactly.
I'm gonna try that one on.
But like yours is beautiful to watch because you'll walk up and be like, hey, can I sit here? And I'm like, right, I could totally just say that.
I
But
get where you're coming from.
all I'm saying is like it's automatic. And the ones where I have been like, I can sense when I'm actually sorry, and those are the ones I work on. Where I'm like, why am I actually apologizing right now? But if someone thinks I'm actually apologizing when I say, so sorry, can I sit here? Then like, okay, that's not true. Like I'm not like, how could I possibly take up the seat next to you? It's not going that deep for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
hear
it's
that. I
like
still
a
think you're a dick, but I hear you.
likewise. But yeah, that's what I have certainly sensed in me. Where I'm
Okay.
just like, yeah. But you're not wrong. I mean, I really do notice it in public, like, yeah, just bumping into people or kind of being in each other's way and it's all women and they're like, sorry, like it's their face, like they're
I know. Well,
sorry.
and this
And
is
I'm like, it's okay, you don't have to be sorry. Like, it's all good.
right. And this is what gets me about women doing it.
Hmm.
I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to explain this. But if you take all the situations in which an apology is completely unwarranted
Hmm.
and like there may not even be any energy behind it or whatever, but like, why do women say it so much
No,
and
for
men
sure.
don't? And I think part of
Sure.
me changing that for myself is like, everyone unplug your headphones so that the people on the train can hear this. I asked myself, would an old white man apologize for this?
Totally.
Would an old white man say sorry in
Hmm.
this situation?
Hmm.
And all of the answers were no. And then I was like, well, I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah, totally.
And it didn't take long because I was like, yeah, that doesn't, I don't want to, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I sounded so angry. I'm not.
Totally. I mean, it goes as far back to the first time we ever really talked about it, and you weren't quite as mad at me about it yet. No.
Yeah, there was like I wasn't mad,
Yeah,
and then I got mad, and then I wasn't mad.
totally. But that was, remember when we went to eat in Knoxville and we like went to a restaurant and I think I said it to you because I was like, that was crazy to watch.
Yes. Oh
The
my
way you
God.
interacted with the host, that's all my like restaurant trauma coming out. I will say there are men that do it, but it's
Oh,
always
absolutely.
like younger and more varied. And like it is kind of their whole personality. Like they've got that issue that all women have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you're absolutely right that it's so pervasive in women. It's crazy. Oh, I've definitely, people have commented to me back a long time ago at restaurants,
Hmm.
like at one of my restaurants here. I would always go up to the bartender who was super sweet and he was kind of a badass and he was a great bartender. And I would always be like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. Could I like get this thing?" And he kept having to be like, "Of course, yeah, I don't apologize." And after a while, he's like, "Maria, you're doing me a favor right now and you're really respectful with me and you actually respect that I'm like," because there was a lot of contention with that bar because they weren't set up for success. And so, like, drinks might take longer, this or that. And then some servers, whether or not they had an attitude, they weren't like team working and
Right.
being like, I got you, I know you're behind. Because I meant it as like, I'm so sorry to interrupt the fact that you have this shitty setup and I have to now bother you for this thing. But he was right, where it was just like, yeah, but I don't have to apologize to him. It's not my fault for the shitty setup. But I like the way he said it. It really snapped me out of it because he was like, "You're so respectful to me. You always are like team working with me. Like, you don't need to apologize when you're asking for things." And I was
Right.
like,
Right. And I think
that
that's
is
the
a
thing.
great point.
And I think that's the thing too. It's like all of those sorries that get littered all over the place, it's coming predominantly in situations where the person is making a reasonable request or there was like a natural fumble or like whatever it was, but everyone is being sweet and kind and understanding. So
Totally.
like,
Totally.
you don't need to say that.
Totally.
But also that reminds me, I was on the flip side of that when I had that corporate job and I was managing people.
Hmm.
I had this one employee that like sweetest person. And it wasn't a tick or anything like that. Like it wasn't a filler word because I paid attention to it. So when I say every sentence, I am exaggerating. But every time she came up to me, every time she chatted me, every time she said something to me, it was sorry. I have this question. Sorry. And I had to sit her down and I was like, again, my job
Yeah.
is to make sure that you can do your job. So when I'm doing something and you think you're interrupting me, you're not because you interrupting me is my job. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and we had several conversations like that when I was just like, "I love you so much. You're so sweet. I I'm going to beat this out of
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. I have a good example from recently where I felt like you because, as you know, I was on a call with Medicaid for 3 hours recently, and it was with this very sweet girl. Don't start yet. I'm literally in the middle. We can pause for that. We're gonna pause right after my
I'm
story.
gonna sit on my hands in the meantime.
It's good.
Okay.
So thank God we got a very sweet woman because you know Medicaid can be such a hassle and a bitch and like all the things. And she was so sweet and docile and helpful, and that was great. No, she
Docile.
was docile. She was fucking docile.
Okay.
So we were on the phone with her for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Mhm.
And apologies were already kind of from the start, but you didn't know they were going to ramp the fuck up. So, like, for instance, it started slowly with her being like, okay, 1 second, let me look at the file. And then it would be a really long, it would be like 30 seconds or a minute and a half. And then she'd be like, so sorry for the long wait. I'm still here. I'm just like reading through the file. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, no problem. But then, like, because the call went on, they had messed some stuff up. We needed to send some things. So we're like parsing through all the shit. Oh my God, it just got more and more. Every time she was like, again, I'm so sorry that this is taking so long. I'm so sorry. And it was like nice that it was Medicaid and it was really a hassle and we'd been on hold for 2 hours. So on one side, nice to just have somebody that was kind and understanding. But by the end, I swear to God, if I'd been alone on the call, because it wasn't really my call, if I had been the one talking to her, I was going to be like, hey, you're doing a really great job. This is going to take a long time. I'm totally here. I'm not upset at all. Take all the time you need. Please stop apologizing. Because by the end, I was like, oh my God. But, our friend Ed brought up a really good point where she was like, yeah, she's probably gotten yelled at a lot by callers.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, but it was just so funny to watch her do it, even though we were like, no problem. Absolutely. No worries.
Mm-hmm.
None of it helped. She just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And it was like, oh, bro, you're just doing your job
Right.
and you're doing a good job and you're trying to help us and you're,
Oh, thank you. Okay, slurp break.
this is an ASMR part. We'll have to have like 4 old Starbucks drinks when we do the ASMR episode.
Okay. Because I still want to save.
Okay.
All right, are we done with the fog machine?
And we're back. Yeah.
Great.
I also remember at that same job where I apologized a lot. Then, like a year later, I'd grown a lot, and like an 18-year-old girl started as a host, but sometimes they'd work the carryout line, so they're just doing carryout, right? Like packaging and oh my God, she apologized for breathing. And we would all stop her and be like, you've got to stop.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you've got to stop. Like it's everything's fine. You're doing great. You've got to stop saying I'm sorry so much. So I do get it. I do get it. Yeah.
So with that example too, and I really didn't mean for this episode to be about that, but this is fun. I guess the extent of that
Yeah.
to where everyone was like, you have to stop that. That's the type of energy that makes me think that it just isn't, in some cases, fine. It is. But it isn't a filler word. Because even if people are saying, like ourselves, like and a shit ton, people don't pull you aside and say, you have to stop saying
Except
that.
for our 8th grade teachers. I'm just
Hashtag trauma.
kidding. No, but it's true.
Yeah. Like there's a difference.
Absolutely.
Anyway, all right, the end.
No, it's true. But like, what are meaningful apologies?
An acknowledgement and a commitment to change
Mm-hmm.
from a genuine place.
Yeah.
And then letting it go.
Yeah. It's a good one.
What about you? What you got on that?
No, I think that's right. And I think it comes from a place of being able to set your own guilt aside.
That's what I'm saying about letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
In the first place, too, it requires you to set your pride aside.
Yeah. Because I think it's also interesting receiving apologies. Receiving apologies is important too. I have this one example coming to mind where I had a friend
Was it me in Mexico when I was being mean to you about
who was really mean. No, no, shut up.
Okay.
Yeah. But I had this friend who was going through a hard time. She'd like dated somebody who dicked her around. And right after like the last instance where she had something really shitty happen with the guy, I just didn't check in on her for like a month or two after that. And a few things ended up coming out. We also realized that when she's going through things, she kind of gets insular and expects people to reach out, but no one knows she's going through anything, so people don't reach
Because she's
out.
being insular.
Totally. And so that was really great to like parse through as well at the same time.
Mhm.
But I remember I said to her, and this is the receiving an apology part. We finally went out to dinner. And as we were talking, I realized what a hard time she'd been having. And it dawned on me, oh my God, I cannot believe I have not checked on her since that happened. Whoa. And
Mhm.
so I said to her, I was like, hey, I'm really sorry I haven't checked in on you in the last couple of months. That was like really shitty and I should have. And she was like, no, 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 it's fine. She really tried to brush it away, which I'm guilty of too,
Mhm.
but I was really proud of myself because I don't know where it came from, but she was like, no, I
Mm.
know it's fine. And I was like, no, I'm really sorry. I should have checked on you. That was a really hard time, and I should have checked on how you were doing. And she started crying
Mhm.
because it was like, message received. I didn't receive the apology first.
Right. Because it actually wasn't fine.
Right. And I don't think she was mad at me. I
No,
don't
no,
think,
not at all.
but just to clarify for the audience, like, I don't
Yeah.
think she was mad at me. Just for anyone who like realizes that they do that when they're like, no, no, it's fine. You might not have been consciously thinking about the person and the fact that they weren't there for you or
Right.
whatever. But it is okay to take a beat and be like, thanks for saying that. That's really nice. Because I think when I was like, no, I'm sorry. And I was also really proud. I don't have to be mad at myself and beat myself up that I didn't reach out to her. I didn't know.
Right.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
malicious. I just should have checked in on her. And there's nothing you can do about it. Everything's fine. But I am sorry I didn't reach out. But
Mhm.
not sorry because I'm like, and I should have, and how dare I?
Or sorry because I think you're mad and you
Uh,
need to forgive me for my own
yes.
egoic
Yeah.
motives.
Right.
And that actually reminds me, I had a similar situation recently too, where I was offering a genuine apology,
Mm-hmm.
and to the other person, like the way I handled things was not fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, was that nice. Like,
Right.
I respect the hell out of that,
Yeah.
which is a thing I think that when you're talking about your friend too, like she got to it. But there's so much conditioning that just puts us in that place oftentimes of like, it's okay. Like the
Totally.
codependent conditioning of society.
100%.
And then she got there because you pushed her a little bit in saying, I know it wasn't fine. And
Mm-hmm.
like whether she received it or not, it was like, my apologies to say that I know it wasn't fine.
Yeah.
You can take it or leave it. But I think it does take a lot of awareness to get there or be there that when someone apologizes to you, you can just say, thank you.
Yeah. I've really tried to say thank you when people apologize at this point, and I notice it's hard for me.
You've gotten really good at that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's uncomfortable every time.
Hmm.
Like, not that uncomfortable anymore because I'm doing it. I'm like, this still feels new because
Yeah.
for 35 years I didn't do that or whatever,
Hmm.
for most of my life. I was like, it's okay. I know you didn't mean to.
Right.
But that doesn't let it land the same
Mm-mm. It
as when you're
doesn't.
like, thanks.
Hmm.
And then you're like, should I say it's okay? Like that's what it feels like to me in my
Yeah.
body. I'm like, should I make them feel better now because they feel sad,
And that's where
bad?
it is.
That's what it
And it
is.
doesn't come
Should I?
out of you anymore, but
Yeah.
like it's still there.
Yes. Should
Yeah.
I make them feel better because they feel really bad right now if they did something that hurt
Nah,
me?
fuck them. They apologize to you.
Damn.
This is where I make light of things in crude ways.
Yeah, but I think that's right. Like when we're chronically apologizing, whether we think we're doing something wrong or not, but especially if you do, if you're just constantly thinking you're doing something wrong all the time, then that's probably where the examination lies rather than actually just like apologizing all the time. It's like, do you actually think you're doing stuff wrong?
I think that's what I was getting at with
Yeah,
the
it was.
self-worth thing.
Yeah,
Like of
for sure.
and then I just want to point out too that like when everyone's not everyone, some people, us,
I got that.
people, any people, mostly humans.
Sometimes dogs.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Edit, edit.
Edit, edit.
Okay. When there's a person that's trained themselves to constantly be apologizing, whether it's like the self-worth thing or really believing that everything they're doing is wrong and being on guard for that and whatever, they're not coming from a genuine, for real, authentic self place.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, the person that every time they receive an apology is like, oh no, it's okay. I know you didn't mean it, or whatever the fuck follows that. That also isn't true. And so, like, there's not really any authentic communication happening.
I
Like,
love the I love the graphic. We're just missing each other.
complete, like, nobody is present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apologies, man. They're weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know the chronic apologizing when you see it.
Mhm. And I'm coming for you.
She really is. It's so creepy. Don't let her do
Because
it.
you're wonderful.
No, I know.
And I need you to know that. Okay, I'm done.
But I think that's also something we can all say to each other then when if we're noticing chronic apologizing. It's just like a sit down with like a straightforward sorry. It's a sit down and be like, hey, I notice you're apologizing a lot. I know you don't mean half of them, but like, I want you to know you're wonderful and you don't have anything to apologize for.
Oh, all y'all out there that know that you apologize too much, what she just said was for you. And
Indeed.
it made my little heart swell.
And Maria means that her heart actually swolled.
It got swole.
It got swole. Her heart is swole.
Oh my God.
My heart is so swole right now. I
Shit.
think we just came up with our own slang. Hashtag swole heart.
Heart swole.
Heart swole. That's really good.
Oh,
I'm really into it.
me too. No, you started something
We
in
need to
this
start
moment.
like a couples TikTok that's like hashtag heart swole. He like brings her flowers. She's like hashtag heart swole.
On a t-shirt.
Yeah. Hashtag heart swole. Well, now you gotta make a t-shirt.
Okay.
Now it's just gonna sound like you have a swollen heart. Like
An enlarged heart,
enlarged
like
heart.
a
Are you
medical
having
condition.
myocarditis right now? Like
Uh, okay, I'm all right.
um, what were the other ones? Commitment and promises.
Promises.
Oof, Lord Almighty. Promises are similar to sorries in that a promise is like a
Yeah, quit
commitment.
fucking around with that one too.
But yeah, I don't know. It's promises are tricky.
Yeah.
I feel like people, wow. No, we can have another slurp break.
Okay, slurp break. All right, we did slurping, fog machine, dinner plans,
Yeah,
and we're back.
promises. I think maybe humanity's issue with promises is over promising,
Absolutely.
right?
What I was going to say is we need to exercise a great deal more discernment before spitting those words out.
Totally. But also, I don't hear it very much.
I promise I will never die. Team America,
Mm.
you would have to promise that you'll never die. I promise I will never die. Cue puppet sex. Maybe the best
Hashtag
scene
puppet sex.
in any movie ever. If you
Wow.
haven't seen Team America,
I saw it when it came
it
out.
does not hold up. They can't make movies like this anymore
No, they surely
at
cannot.
all.
No, absolutely not.
Don't come for me if you get offended. But it was brilliant.
Mm, indeed.
Okay. Anyway, yes.
America. Fuck
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people can exercise more of like, I can't promise
Mm-hmm.
X, Y, and Z, but I can make an effort to change that or
Right.
work on it, or I don't know. But now I'm actually curious about promises. I don't feel like I hear people say like I promise to me very often, ever. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Commitment? Commitment's tricky. Okay, I've got a good commitment one. Or I don't know if it's good, but I just watched this like relationship YouTube video, whatever, with this woman, or it was a podcast, but it was a woman who wrote, have you ever heard of a book called The Queen's Code?
Are you fucking kidding me? No.
Oh. Oh, what? Did you just hear about it?
Did I just tell you that I was reading this terrible book that I just returned?
Yes. It was The Queen's Code?
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. I just watched a podcast with her. Okay, good. This
Okay.
backs me up because I didn't feel great about her, but I couldn't pinpoint why. And I watched the entire hour and a half. And the whole time was like,
That was me reading the book.
because she thinks she has men figured out. Well, the way she talked about the book is as though she channeled it, because she talks about the fact that she wrote it in 3 weeks and that it was like a,
That shows.
yeah, and that it was like played as a movie in her mind. So she was like watching the movie as she typed it out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't want to shit talk the book on the podcast,
Too late.
but I already have.
Yeah. Remember that time I told you I was reading a book and it was so bad I had to return it? I don't want to shit talk that book.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Wait, where did that come up from? Commitment.
Yeah.
Okay, go back to that.
Well, what I was gonna say is that she was like, a man will, he won't, wait, what was it again? He won't commit to you if he's not ready. But if he is ready, he'll commit because it's you. Is that right?
I doubt it.
No, but I also might be right, and that's why I was
Sure.
like, yeah, like it was like
hmm
this wasn't a great way to take it. I don't really know. I remembered her talking about commitment though, and like having figured out like when men will commit or not. And I feel like anybody who thinks they have that stuff figured out, that
Or any group of people figured out, or any
yeah, I mean
situation
that's not
figured out.
I love Matthew Hussey and I love
Right.
Esther Perel and but they don't. Well, Matthew Hussey does talk more about that stuff, but I feel like he talks more in the lens of like your focus of
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, he more like self focuses rather than like the man will commit when the man feels this or like he doesn't do that. He does more
Right.
of like, what are you
When
keeping
you
your
wear
eyes
the
open?
black, the
Yeah,
blue, the pink, and the red lingerie in that order
right.
over the span of a week, and like,
No,
no.
yeah,
Um,
no,
I think
right.
I think though too, like just for me with commitment, like what came to mind is not even relationship.
Relationships, totally,
Just
totally,
like
totally. I understand. There's lots of, yeah.
I think it's tricky actually making commitments to yourself or other people with your time, energy, effort, any of that. I have a sense that that's one of those things that maybe has a different meaning to a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
And then probably because no matter what your understanding of the word, it still has quite a lot of gravity
Hmm.
and therefore can have like a lot of potential landmines in it, I think.
Mm.
Because I feel like I heard a quote, or maybe it's a well-known one, I don't know, but essentially a commitment is making the same choice every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have found great use for the idea of one day at a time.
Sure.
And it's like, so
Yeah.
I can guarantee that I am committed to one thing
Yeah.
today.
Mm-hmm.
If I commit to that today, whatever it is, internal, external, within a relationship, blah, blah, blah. Yes. The best I can do for you beyond today is that is my heartfelt intention.
Mm-hmm.
And I give you my confidence. I'm confident in myself that I will wake up tomorrow with that intention and can then make a commitment for that day.
Mm-hmm.
But
I feel like that's tricky when you put that together with promises.
I know we should have done separate episodes.
Yeah, right. No, but because I'm like, okay, definitely not trying to just focus on relationships, but marriage came to mind,
Mhm.
where it's like that idea of a long promise.
Ooh, that's ooh.
You know what I mean?
Ooh, okay, wait a minute, because you just like, whew, something happened when you put marriage and promise together. I don't know if I've missed that in the past, that that's kind of what that is.
Literally, that's like in a lot of vows. Like, I promise to X, Y, I promise to be with you in sickness and health.
Are we done yet?
Oh
Wait.
my God, her brain broke.
I'm just in a different world, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Conventional Western wedding vows.
Obvi.
The word promises in there a bunch?
I'm saying often.
Okay.
Often. I don't know that it's in that whole like in sickness and health, but I think a lot of people stand on altars and say, like, I promise to always, like, whatever, fill in the blank.
Fucking reckless.
I mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Well, and I think it's dependent. Like, that's why I've played around with it in my head where it's like, what would I be able to promise? And it's like, I promise each
Yeah.
day to commit to that day, I guess would be a good one for you. No, I'm just kidding. But like, it's like the idea of I promise to be with you till we die. It's like that's a lofty promise. And I'm not saying don't make it, but just
Right.
saying.
Right. All that goes with the caveat of like, we're not saying don't do that.
No, not at all.
Do it if
Just
it feels good.
thinking about it. It's
Right.
like that is, I mean, I might be wrong, and maybe this generation, but like generations past, I'm positive that you'd ask married couples from generations past if like they promised to be together and they'd be like, yeah, of course. Or if like if we ask, is marriage a promise? I mean, it's a leading question, but I bet a lot of people would be like, of course it is. Of course it's a promise.
Hmm.
It's a promise to never leave each other. I mean, that's sort of
Right.
that's what marriage, the idea of marriage, historically, conventionally, Western conventions is.
Right.
That's why so many people up till now have stayed in things that weren't happy because they promised to stay.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what promise has meant. Well, you made a promise. That's like well, you made a promise.
Mm-hmm.
You broke that promise.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that's loaded.
Yeah.
hmm And yeah, that's why promises have always been true. Like, I don't even know if I've ever promised anybody anything. I think probably in the past when I wasn't thinking, I wasn't conscious, I would just be like, no, of course, I promise. Like, I would never do that or whatever. But now I don't remember the last time I said I promised to somebody. Because like, I don't know, I can't promise anything.
Right.
And I don't think that's totally true, but I mean, in that sense of like, I'm going to promise this concrete thing rather than like, I'm going to promise to be mindful every day and to be committed every day. And
Right. And then the next question is what you committing to?
sure.
Yeah. Okay. This is so interesting because I'm similar. I very seldom say I promise, but I'm recognizing that I often do within the context of a spiritual conversation
Mm-hmm.
or one in which I am speaking from that place
Mm-hmm.
where, like, I'm just recounting the times that I've said that to friends recently, where it's like, I know that you're going to make it through this and you don't see it,
Totally.
and that's fine, but you're going to be okay. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I fucking know that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I can promise that this person will be okay if they are open to it. But see, even there is a caveat.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Well, fuck me then.
I think, yeah, promise is just loaded from the past, just like advice.
You remember that time you put marriage and promise in the same sentence? And I
Your
completely,
brain broke.
yeah,
I do.
yeah, that was about 4 minutes ago.
No,
I'm fine now. I
I
figured it
am
out.
fucking positive so many officiants have been like, marriage is a promise between two people,
Okay,
you
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear it now. Okay.
Totally.
And I'm not even totally against it. I just think I
No,
hadn't
totally.
thought
Well,
about
I was gonna
that.
say, what did you think marriage was? I don't mean it that way. No, no,
Right.
no, no, no. But I mean, like, what did you think of as marriage? I guess that conflicted with promise, if promise was that jarring to hear.
I mean, I don't know if I guess I hadn't put them together in a very long time. And I mean, the way that I also think of commitment, because this is a, like wedding, whatever, or marriage. And then I think of commitment within a relationship. And I know that I guess I came up on this in my last relationship, but it was the clarity around like, what is the commitment?
Yeah.
What are we committing to?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think that marriage is just a bigger one of those, which is the commitment to be present and authentically explore the relationship and the flow and the growth that is possible within that union or merger or whatever it is. And I think the biggest one that is foundational in my mind is if I get to a place where I'm like making that promise or commitment, it is more so to myself than to that other person.
Mm-hmm.
And I would want it to be the same.
Totally. I see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. That is a very good way to put it because it's the promise to yourself. And I think if one does that, they're also more well equipped to not stay in something that's no longer serving them.
Right. And I think also to be more discerning about when something arises that is undesirable,
Right.
to know when to stay and to know when to go.
Right.
If you're committed to yourself, then it's going to ultimately be like what's best for you, which may also be the growth in how can you show up differently in that situation and what can you gain from that? And is it really the most aligned thing you can do to walk away? Or is that just noise and fear and all that
Sure.
other stuff?
Totally. Oh, certainly. Yeah. I mean, there's the two sides of the coin of like people who may run early or people who may stay too long.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, child.
That was fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think we covered the three. We did a good job.
Did a great job. Also, there's this really gorgeous piano piece called The Promise.
Uh-huh.
Forget who it's by, so good luck finding it. Let's just do that now so we don't leave people hanging.
Clickety clackety. It's so good.
I will never find it.
Copy.
Oh, found it.
Wow. This is from something.
It's from a movie called The Piano.
Oh, it's from the piano. Oh, that is the piano. That song is the piano.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I came across it some other way, but it's by Michael Nyman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, Michael
Rhymes with
Nyman's
Hyman.
very good. Yeah. Cool. Well, on that piano note.
Get out. Holla.
Love you all so much. Thanks for watching and listening.
Share with your friends.
Share with your friends. Like, subscribe. Follow us
Make
on
us
Instagram.
famous.
Other Maria comes on Instagram. Okay.
All right, love y'all.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and most importantly, share. This episode was hosted by Maria and Maria. Theme music composed and performed by Maria. Logo design by Maria. Recorded and produced by Maria. Snacks provided by Maria. Moral support provided to Maria by Maria.